Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have Disney's NHL Big City Greens Classic. This is a weird one. This is kind of unique. Technically, I would have not had this just because it fits too well into the ESPN Plus stuff that I've already kind of excised from the lists. You know what? Yeah, sure, put them on Disney Plus, get a new audience, but you can also find a lot of this stuff on ESPN Plus if that's the thing you're into. We watched a number of 30 for 30 documentaries, which are fascinating in their own way, but I'm not super into sports, and it's not very Disney. But when you add Big City Greens, which is a Disney Channel exclusive animated series, well, yeah, you know what? I'm including this. It just makes sense. But the thing is, this is not an average episode of Big City Greens. This is an actual hockey game between the Rangers, the New York Rangers, and the Washington Capitals. But with a twist, it's entirely also animated. I don't know if this is like an exhibition game or I can't imagine this is like a normal season NHL game. I don't know. But it has announcers, it's the actual broadcast of an actual real game, but they have overlaid it with animation, like even the announcers are animated characters drawn in the style of, like cricket here, with the same kind of heads and eyes and stuff like that. I don't know what their names are offhand, but they're having conversations back and forth about the game, giving the calls and just sort of calling out the goals and everything else, and giving stats and things like that. They are it's real. And then of course during the game, the real players, but subbing in for two of those real players are Cricket and Tilly. Oh, and also Grandma and Bill, Dad. So Grandma and Dad, Bill, I'm pretty sure it's Bill, are both goalies, with Cricket and Tilly playing with the rest of the team. But it's really, all they've done is overlaid the actual player with an animated, little 3D animated version of Cricket or Tilly. And yeah, throughout the game, you get to hear their voices of the different characters taking part in this. Also, you during the 3 periods. Between the periods, you don't go to a ton of beer commercials and other stuff like that. They spend time. They show who the cast members are, the actual voiceover artists, that actors that provide the voices for the characters you love. So it's kind of neat to see that, them in the studio. So what they probably did, this probably was not broadcast live, I imagine, but does it say? No, it doesn't. So yeah, they took this and then they just overlaid it, edited it as needed, and they even have interviews with the players that Tilly and Cricket took over for. Of course, they really played, but still, it's all melded into the humor of the whole thing. So it takes place in Big City, surrounded by chickens and fire trucks, and like right there in the middle, in front of their house, between the buildings. At one point, the zoo animals break loose from the zoo, and they hang out for some reason. There's, in place of the ref, is a pigeon who drops a puck. So yeah, it's all digitally mapped to each of the actual physical humans that are in it. And we've seen this stuff done before. Even on a regular hockey game, they have the ability to track and trace and highlight the path of the puck as it moves around. Because a lot of times watching hockey on television, watching it in real life, I've seen a lot of hockey games in real life growing up. Played some hockey as a kid growing up, unprofessionally, not like on a school team or anything. I don't think we could have, but we didn't. We were a small high school. But I played a lot, on real ponds and stuff like that. But going to see hockey games where I was from, sometimes it's hard to keep track of that puck. It's flying around. But with modern technology, we have the ability to trace the where the puck is flying at any given moment. The camera can track that. And then, of course, if you're ever confused as to who's what and you can't really read the names on the back of their jerseys, they often have little I don't know, icons or whatever else. My back is itchy. Little icons and things like that says, oh, this is the name of this player, that player. Especially if they're all in a huddle, kind of like against each other, fighting or whatever else. So yeah, it's you get to see who's scoring, who's passing, and everything else. In this case, all the regular players minus 2 or 4. Replaced by the characters we know from Big City Greens. That's the entire concept of it. It is from 2023. It's from this year, earlier this year, and it is 2 hours and 19 minutes long. Yes, I watched the entire thing. It was on in the background while I was doing other stuff. Of course, I was working and stuff like that. But, it's like any other game I would possibly have on the background as I work. But yeah, because I'm not a big sports guy, but if I was in anything, it's cool that it's hockey. I can't imagine them doing this with football. That'd be interesting. Football has a much, there's a whole lot more going on there. Hockey, it's very contained, although chaotic. It's still interesting. So if you're a hockey fan, if you're a Big City Greens fan, you might want to check this out, even just for a little bit to see what they do with it. They do interviews with Tilly and Cricket every so often, and it just adds layers of humor to it. And it's a good time. And if you as an adult, as a mom and dad, love hockey, and your kids love Big City Greens, it might be a good way to get them into playing enjoying hockey with you. You never know. Of course, taking it to an actual game might be interesting and exciting too. So, but this is a nice little melding of things, I guess. But yeah, it's I'm not going to tell you who won, but yeah, it has the I've never seen anything done like this before. So it's interesting that it was Big City Greens to break that ice. Pardon the expression. But yeah. It's got a lot of stuff going for it for people who love hockey and, of course, Big City Greens. So check it out. Let's pick tomorrow's episode. 125. I can't say that I would have oh my gosh, I need to watch this if it wasn't for this thing. It just would have. I might have been curious as to what's going on here, but it's not the kind of thing that I would have really, really gone for. All right, we have another documentary reality category item here. I am not sure what this is. It might be very Disney related. We'll find out. 125 is Frank and Ollie. When it's just names, first names like that, I can't recall what it's all about. We'll find out soon enough. Frank and Ollie on the next Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. I'll see you back here tomorrow with that.